What's up out there, YouTube? Double D here with Tournage du Bois. Welcome back. So I was watching YouTube the other day, catching up on some videos from some subscriptions that I have, different people that I follow, and had this video pop up in my feed in looking through them, and one that really piqued my interest, so I want to give it a try. The ironic thing is that individual also did a sticker. They also sent me a sticker just this week. So I got this sticker from Mike Holton. I'm going to put a link to his channel right up here in the corner. He does some really cool stuff. I'm really excited to see all the different things that he does. But he did this piece about some coloring with some intrinsic dyes from Hamster Sheen. So I'm going to give that a try following his technique, using a piece of figured maple. So we're going to see how this goes. This isn't highly figured maple, so we're not going to be ruining any of the curling or anything like that. But I'm really excited to see how this turns out because his piece was absolutely stunning. So definitely check that out. Subscribe to him if you haven't. But let's get rolling. Hey, we're also doing a giveaway on this video from Brad's Workbench. So stay tuned to the end of the video and we will indicate what you need to say in the comments to be entered into the drawing for US residents only. So definitely stick around and check that out. All right, so I have this mounted up on a glue block. Didn't bother showing you that. So the first thing I want to do is get it round, and then I'm going to start shaping. And I'm going to put a mortise on this one. I don't normally do that, but I'm going to put a mortise on this one just to make it a little bit easier on the other portions that I need to do. So let's get rolling. All right, so I have that turned. I did a little bit of scraping on the outside with my skew. Got the mortise all ready. So now I'm gonna sand it. So I'm not gonna bore you with all that information, but we will bring it back when we are ready for our next step. So we'll get started with the sanding. All right, we are back. I did not bore you with the entire sanding process, but we have our piece sanded up to 400 grit. Not doing any sealer or anything like that because we are doing these intrinsic dyes. So first of all, big thank you to Matt Held. I'll put his Instagram right up here down at the bottom. Check him out, but he loaned me his intrinsic colors. So we're using honey, burnt orange, flame, and ruby. I want to do kind of a multicolored effect here on the bottom. So we'll just take the bottle, squirt just a little bit on here, and start rubbing it on. And this is why we wear gloves, because otherwise it gets all over us. And someone at that point, I'm not going to name names, but her initials are Sarah, would not be appreciative. So we're going to do our ruby for the next color. Now we're going to go with flame. Go back with some more of the honey. That dries pretty quickly. So once it's done drying, we will sand it back just a little bit and then go back and touch up any colors we want to modify. And I'll also clean up this base because I want to keep that base wood colored. I didn't really think about taping that off, so that is one thing I will learn for the future for sure. Bring you back when I'm ready to do the second coat of this, but I'll sand it with the 400 grit and then we'll go from there. See you in a minute. All right, we will let that dry again. Then we'll come back and sand it back, see where we are, and then we'll clean up the bottom and go from there. All right, now welcome back. We've got our second coat on. I'm really happy with how that's looking. So we're gonna, normally I would do a sanding sealer on this, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to use just shellac. So I've got this clear shellac I'm going to use, and we're going to put that on, and that will work as the sanding sealer so that we can make sure that the colors don't come off or run into any issues or anything like that. So we will be using this for our sanding sealer. I'm going to have the lathe on at a low speed, get the towel a little bit of shellac on that, and then let that apply it as it turns at a low speed. So this is running right about 90 RPM. It's pretty quick drying, so we will let that dry for a minute and then we will come back and do another one. All right, we've got our shellac on a couple of coats, so now we're going to use our extra fine sanding paste from Brad's Workbench. Link to his Etsy store down in the description if you want to get some. It is great stuff. Love it. Love his Tung honey finish. Love his Tung wax finish. So give it a try if you have not. You will not be disappointed. Off camera, I did also knock this shellac back with some 4/0 steel wool. I did put a little bit of denatured alcohol on it just to help with making sure nothing stuck to it and things like that. So pretty happy with how well that went on and knocked the shellac back just a little bit. Important thing with the sanding paste, just in talking with several other people, is use the extra fine. If you use a more coarse grit, then you will end up having the colors come off even after sanding, sealer, shellac, whatever you put on your piece. So just use the extra fine, and that will help minimize that while still giving you that abrasive paste start that you need. I have a little tiny bit of the color coming off, nothing significant. So I think we're pretty good. Run this right about my 600 that I normally do, and we'll get this off. Clean rag means we're done. So what I will do is I will reshape this just a little bit to clean up this base, and I'll redo the mortise, but I'll do that off camera, not bore you with that, and then we'll get her flipped around. And we are back. We're now going to use our Tung wax finish on the base part before we get it flipped around. Really like how this finish works. It's a wax base, so it should shine up really well. I know that a lot of people with these use Hampshire Sheen, which is a wax also. So we'll get this put on and follow our normal process with the Tung wax finish. So we'll let it set for a little bit, and then we will get the lathe kicked on, get the heat up from friction, and then we will get it buffed in. I'm really liking how these colors are showing up. And I'm really thankful for all the inspiration I get from other YouTubers. So like I said, if you haven't followed Mr. Mike Holton so far, definitely get over there and do that, because he does some really fun projects, does really good explanations of what he does, so check him out. So we'll let that set for a bit, and then we'll come back and buff that off and get it flipped. All right, so I'm going to do this just a little bit differently than my friend Mike did. So he dished out the bowl portion first. I don't think I want to do that. I think I'm going to just dip this whole thing and then scoop the bowl portion out. Be a little bit different and try something that he didn't try. Not that I think it's going to work any better, but I just want to see how that does as compared to his method. I don't foresee it being a big issue, but we'll give it a try. So the next thing we'll do, I'm going to sand this up just a little bit, but then we will get to the next portion. So for this portion, we're going to be using the burnt orange, the plum, the midnight blue, the flame, the sky blue, forest green, and ruby. So those are the specific colors we're going to be using on this portion. We're going to be using some shaving foam. So this is just some cheap shaving foam that we got. Going to put that in the pan, put these on it, stir it around with a stick, and then we'll dip the piece in it just like Mike did and see what we can come up with. We might try something a little different where I twist the piece just to get a little bit, see if I get a different effect, that kind of thing. But here we go. And we'll take our stick, I don't want it to blend too much, so just being kind of careful with that. Like Mike, I left it on the chuck, so it'll make it a little bit easier. We're just going to dip it in, and I'm going to twist it just a little bit. And I'm going to do it one more time. So now we'll get that dished out and go from there. Time to take the tape off. Perfect. Nothing on any of the side. Now we'll dish the bowl part out and we will go from there. All right, got that all dished out. Got a nice smooth transition. Now we're gonna sand this, being real careful not to touch the top part. Then we will sanding sealer the top and the bowl, and then we will go from there. And we're back. We're now going to put on some sanding sealer and be able to go from there. Now I use shellac on the outside. I'm using Mylans on this portion. See if I can tell a difference between the two. That's the only reason. Back with the steel wool, we're gonna go over the whole surface of this with the steel wool, and then we will do our abrasive paste and tongue finish. Back to Brad's. And now for the tongue wax. So just like always, we're going to put this on, let it set for 15 to 20 minutes, and then we will buff it off. And about that time, we should be done with this piece. Hey everybody, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that project. So once again, huge thank you to Mike Holton for the inspiration. So check that video out because it really inspired me. That being said, here's our finished piece. So we have our logo laser engraved, the 4 colors on the outside for the flaming fire lava type effect. And then we have our psychedelic swirl pattern with the other colors on the top of the bowl and then dished out. Finished with the abrasive paste and Brad's tongue wax. So big thank you to Brad for the finish. All right, so if you are a US resident, make sure and comment down below in the comments and use the phrase tongue wax kit. So that's what we're gonna use. That's gonna generate a drawing. We will do the drawing 1 week from tomorrow. So I will put the date down here below also, since I don't have my calendar right with me. I'm going to put the date right down below and the cutoff time, so that's going to be listed right here. And that's when we will do the drawing, or that's when we'll look for the comments. So anybody in those comments will be entered as long as you are a US resident. We will do that drawing and that a winner will be announced. So stay tuned to the channel to see if you're a potential winner. Hope you enjoyed this piece. If you loved the video, give it a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down, but leave your feedback down below. If this is your first time here, please do consider subscribing. I think that's really stinking cool. I look forward to doing more like this. Once again, functional art, that's what I'm going for. So something that's functional and artistic. At any rate, I hope, like I said, hope you enjoyed that. Give it a try yourself. If you do, send me pictures. I'd love to see what you come up with. And at any rate, we will catch you next time.